8:48, talkSPORT Breakfast, Wednesday, March 19th. The reaction we've got is unbelievable. There's people texting in, phoning in, and what is that they do now? Tweeting in, is that what?
Tweets.
Is it tweet?
X's.
Is it X's?
Called X now, isn't
They're
it?
Xing in
X's.
now, showing my age now. It is now time for a little bit of this.
Try and put our hands in our pockets for the sorry. Under pressure. Players have not had a career. You know, Robbie Savage being one.
Je suis heureux parce que l'équipe a pu prendre 3 points.
John, can you translate the tour?
Yeah, he said he's very happy. What do you want me to sing?
Luther Vandross.
You're not willing to sing Luther Vandross?
I'm not. I'm a bit shaken.
Cannot beat a bit of Luth, can you?
Love Luther.
Are you having Luth before George Benson, or are you having George Benson first?
Luther, yeah. Luther,
Luth
Lionel
before Uncle
Richie,
George?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We're slightly younger than you, really, aren't we?
No need for that. Right, we're going to play View from a Blue with John Terry. We're going to ask JT about some of the topical stories and get your reactions, starting with, here we go, wee Jack, no surprise there. He's under scrutiny after being snubbed from the latest England squad. He's been linked back with a move to Villa this summer after a disappointing season with Manchester City, who have had a disappointing season. Jack Grealish is not the reason that Manchester City have had a disappointing season, but at the stage now, JT, we speak about it all the time. Obviously, Gabby's a friend and a fan. I'm a fan myself. He's got to get playing, hasn't he?
Yeah, knowing Jack as well, Jack's not the type of player that wants to be sitting on the bench. I don't think it's good for him. I think he's at his best when he's playing week in, week out, when he's dominating, and he's one of those players that kind of takes it on the back foot, gets at defenders, drives the team up the pitch, drives the team forward. So I think for him, he needs to start playing. He probably needs to look at his options because, like you said, Man City have not been great this year, and he's still not getting a look in. So from his side, I'd be a little bit worried and go, maybe I need to get out because England means the world to him. And I have to say, like, all eyes are on Jack always. It's difficult. He's a young boy with a lot of pressure on his shoulders. I've never seen anyone work so hard at a football club when I was at Villa, and got a real insight into that as well, and how much football means to him in general.
I remember watching him in, I think, League Hardley, Ireland away, and he played in number 10 position. It's the best I've seen him in years. He was just getting the ball and looked free, running at players. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He's still got the same ability, so I just want him to, like, see him playing week in, week out. And like you says, he has to play. Yeah. Because he loves football, doesn't he?
He loves it, yeah, he's obsessed, watches everything, knows everything that's happening. Like we done something at Villa on a set play, and he was like, no, they don't do that, they do this. And he knew exactly what they were doing, what the opposition were doing. So in terms of that, I think it'll be good for him to kind of maybe weigh up his options. I'm not saying to leave Man City because they're one of the top teams in the world, but I think he needs to ask questions, am I going to be part of this in the future? But Jack is an unbelievable talent, and I think Gab's at his best when he's got the freedom of that. So he probably needs the managers to give him the licence to be Jack Grealish.
Yes. Go and play a game. Agreed. I think everybody wants to see it. Yep. Okay, we're going to move over to all things England now, and I'll kid on, I'm interested in this conversation. Thomas Tuchel, JT, right? How's he going to do, and were you surprised at the appointment?
I was surprised a little bit, but listen, we've had foreign managers in the past. I think he'll be very good. See small bits from the outside when he was at Chelsea, in his time at Chelsea, and obviously been very successful. The players loved him when he was at Chelsea. The staff loved him. So in terms of that, I think England's all about that. I think we have a really good squad of players at the moment. We have strength and depth all over the pitch. We've been very close over the last few years, or the last few tournaments.
What's it going to take to get the final hurdle? Because you've got to say, I thought well beaten in the last final, but unlucky against Italy.
Yeah, I think he could be the difference. I think with his experience in terms of international level and club level, playing at the highest level, and bits like that, I think will serve us well. So,
what did you like? Did you like the 5? He likes the 5 at the back.
He likes the 5 at the back. He can change a little bit, so he's flexible, and he loves his football, knows his football, and I just think he could be really good for us. I think he could be the extra bit we needed.
Do you think there's a space as well in the defence? You look at Levi Colwell's in there, and I know you'd be a big fan of him, Chelsea as well. Do you think there's a space in the centre-half department where go and prove that it's your position?
Yeah, I think so for all of them, Gabs. I think it's a fresh start. There'll be boys that have been out the fold, that have got a fresh start under him as well. So naturally, certain managers like their players and like certain types of players. This is a fresh start for everyone. So not only in terms of your club level standards, actually, if you do get in the squad, or you do get an opportunity to go in and go, this is what I'm all about, this is the level I'm at, I want to be part of this group, then you have a real opportunity to impress him.
To move on to some of the managers, obviously Ruben Amorim's went in at Old Trafford. A lot of Portuguese managers and coaches seem to be flavour of the month, which is understandable. I sometimes feel younger English coaches and managers don't really get an opportunity, but that's a topic for another day. I want to ask you about one of the best, if not the best, Portuguese coach of all time. That'd be Mourinho. What was it like under him? Because I've got to say, I was with him last week, and there's just an aura and a bit of class about him. The way the Rangers games, obviously I was talking about, handles himself really, really well. Not scared to say what he thinks. You know what I mean? Even if he's going to upset or ruffle a few feathers, he must have been unbelievable to work with.
Yeah, it was incredible day to day to see it. To get a first impression when he first arrived, the detail and the level of... I used to pride myself for getting in very early. I went in at kind of 8:15, and he's already out there putting the cones on the pitch, he's setting up the pitch. That was his standards every day. His standards were incredible and everyone had to abide by it. But seeing him work on the pitch was incredible. Like his detail in the pre-match games and the tactics of the opposition and how we were going to break teams down, and also a lot of the time focused on us, which I'd not really had as a player as well. So he understood we had a really good group of players, but phenomenal manager, phenomenal person and man to work with, and certainly was never scared to say what he thought, that's for sure.
What was it like when you come back?
Gab's the same for me. Like, a lot of people said he was different the second time. I think the big difference when he come back was players were different. So he wasn't like in that first year of 2004-05, he could have said to me, Lamps, Didier, or anyone in the squad, you've been rubbish basically. You need to be better. That second time round, players were different. It was probably that generation of the players were just starting to kind of go the other way, where they didn't like being told what they were bad at, and they wanted a pat on the back all the time. So in terms of him, I don't think he was different. I think the group was different, and I think he was still very much, this is how I coach, this is how I manage, I've been very successful this way, why would I change? Everyone has to follow me. And also I agree with him. So
the leading question after that would be, it's amazing. I look at the great managers of the past, some of the ones that I was fortunate enough to work with, whether it was Jock Stein very briefly, Jock Wallace, Graham Souness, Sir Alex Ferguson, Walter Smith. I think they are all brilliant managers and brilliant coaches, but I think they would struggle to come to terms with a modern day player's mentality.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would from our generation. Things are different now, and I think we have to adapt to that. I think if you're going
I'm not saying that as a criticism, I'm just saying it as a fact. I think it's a fact.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think we should be shy in saying that. Things are different now. As a manager, I'm sure Lamps and those guys in it now, you have to treat people differently to how we were treated. Everyone's different as well. And I learned a little bit of that kind of coaching at Aston Villa and certain bits and situations that I had conversations with people that maybe... When I was captain at Chelsea, I had different conversations with people. It was more of a telling off rather than a conversation. It was a one-way thing. Now things are different. I think as a manager, you have to adapt to all of that now. But in terms of Mourinho, like the best I've ever worked with, in terms of man management, his tactics,
whole package.
The whole package.
Do you think Mourinho's adapted now? I feel about you. Do you reckon he's still the same?
They're probably a little bit old school over there a little bit. Can deal with it. I think certain countries can deal with it. I think England's changed a little bit. We spoke about Boca Juniors and those types of teams. I'm sure those players are a little bit more robust and can deal with that side of it as well. But why should Mourinho ever change? He's been one of the most successful ever. Exactly. Why would you?
Yep. You don't want him to change. John, listen, mate, we're going to let you go. Thank you
Amazing,
so
mate.
much.
Thank you.
While I've got you here, tell us you'll come back in and see us, because I've really, really joined it. We've only got through half the questions, mate.
I would love to come back.
It's been a pleasure.
We also need to get a game of paddle.
Sounds good.
With Simon.
Sounds good.
Anytime, mate.
Okay.
Yes.
You're taking them on, right?
I'll need practice first. I'll play about 10 times.
We'll get Jody will need to play with those platforms. I've let my tactic out the bag.
I need to stop doing tennis shots and hitting the net and hitting the backboard. Different game.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.